Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nikki Brett. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at the Learning Bar, and I would like to welcome you to this webinar, How to Establish a School Data Team in 10 Steps. So just to give you a bit of a structure of the webinar, it's planned for 30 minutes with an open Q&A session after that. If we are unable to get through to all of your questions, I'll make sure they're collated and answered and sent to everybody who's registered. Just to let you know, the presentation is being recorded and will be available to you after the webinar. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Meghan Bell. As a member of the research and engagement team, she works with school districts throughout Canada to support and build their skills and knowledge in data-driven planning and decision-making. So over to you, Meghan.
Thank you so much, Nikki. Hi, everyone. Welcome. As Nikki just mentioned, my name is Meghan Bell. I'm a research assistant here at the Learning Bar, and I have been for the past 2 years after I graduated with honors in sociology. I work primarily with data from the OurSCHOOL survey. That includes cleaning, analyzing, and interpreting data. I'm really passionate about leveraging data-driven insights to contribute to the success of students, which is why I'm here to talk to you today about setting up a data team in your schools. I just wanted to thank you all for joining us today as we review how to establish a school data team in just 10 steps. So let's begin. Before we move forward, I just wanted to start with a territorial acknowledgement. The Learning Bar would like to acknowledge the traditional ancestral territory of the First Peoples in our respective locations on which we are learning, working, and gathering today. We pay our respects to the members past and present with honor and gratitude as they have stewarded the land throughout the generations. And I'm confident that we will continue to work together in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. Follow on. Here at the Learning Bar, we are focused on giving all children the opportunity to thrive. Our team of researchers, educators, and literacy experts have worked with many of you before, and their goal is to help you capture and analyze the right data at the right time to reduce childhood vulnerability and ultimately improve student outcomes. And it's the work of Dr. Wilms that's supported with our internal research team that has led to collaborations with some of the largest international social development organizations in the world, including the OECD, UNESCO, and the World Bank. And do you know what all these things have in common? It's data. Data drives policy, data drives practice, or at least in my opinion, it should. Data is the foundation of our assessment, evaluation, professional learning solutions, and through ongoing research and support to school districts, we really aim to improve the learning outcomes and well-being of every child. So here we recognize the 2 critical transitions that students have to go through in order to thrive. And these are a successful transition to school and the ability to read well by the end of grade 3. Then we have the ongoing ability to measure the influencing factors that can impact their well-being going forward. And traversing these transitions well is really critical to support student achievement. A key finding from an analysis done through our early years evaluation revealed that when children are nearing the end of their kindergarten year and set to begin grade 1, their pre-literacy skills can span up to 4 years. This gap in skills can deteriorate really quickly, and children who are behind only fall further and further behind if schools are unable to identify and assess a child's strength and pre-literacy skills. Capturing, monitoring, and analyzing data on an ongoing basis is really critical to ensure that all children receive the necessary intervention and support. Our assessment tools provide insight at each developmental stage to improve learning outcomes and enhance the lives of children. And it's this data that can really help bring about data-driven decisions and change. What we've kind of noticed is that the schools and divisions that make a concerted effort to review their data have had the most success. And one way to ensure that you're focusing your efforts is to establish a data team. So what exactly is a school data team? Well, it's a team made up of a group of educators and school leaders who meet regularly to analyze data, review school goals, and monitor progress towards those goals. And they play a really crucial role in ensuring that data is used frequently and appropriately within the school. But what if a school doesn't have a data team? Well, schools that don't have a data team, they may face a variety of challenges, and that includes something called data overload. Having a dedicated team can really help make the review process easier, because without a data team, your school may risk making decisions based only on intuition rather than based on the data. They may face difficulty in identifying areas that may need improvement. You may be unable to monitor progress and prove the effectiveness of your interventions. As you must know, every year multiple initiatives can be put into place, but how many are we able to really measure? Are we missing opportunities that we simply can't identify? And there may also be a bit of uncertainty or misalignment around resource allocation, where you're thinking, where should we focus our efforts? Schools may also face challenges related to developing long-term strategies without data-driven insight that a data team can provide. Without data, it can become challenging to effectively allocate resources, implement school planning initiatives, or put long-term strategies into place. Using data to make evidence-based decisions is really key to building a positive school climate. Sifting through the abundance of data that you as school leaders need to go through can without a doubt be overwhelming. So what better reason to establish a team? A school data team is going to support effective use of data in order to achieve approved outcomes. It might build a strong collaborative approach to school improvement, drive targeted data-informed decision-making, which will then enhance all facets of the school climate, establish a school-wide culture of data inquiry, and it helps schools create a united vision for data use. Establishing a data team is critical as you can look to team members for support and you can leverage all the various skills of each team member to accomplish this important work. So you've decided to get together a school data team. Let's go through the 10 steps together, and throughout the next few slides, we'll just talk about why they're important. Before we really dive into these 10 steps, I just wanted to highlight that if you're looking for a bit more detail on how to set up a data team at your school, you can contact us for a free comprehensive guide. It's going to include printables, worksheets, templates. Since we only have a half hour together, we're just going to briefly review these 10 steps, but the guide will provide a bit more elaboration on each of them. Firstly, forming a data team requires planning, communication, and collaboration. So step one is to extend an open invitation to the entire school staff. This can be through a staff meeting, email, mailbox, however you choose. This is a really great chance to explain the purpose of the data team and why you're choosing to establish one at your school. We found by opening the invite to the entire staff, it really empowers everyone to actively engage in the data team's work rather than just see it as an administrative task that's being done on the side by a detached group in isolation. People want to know what's happening, and it's a great opportunity to highlight the power of the assessment data that takes up so much of your time. Opening the invitation to the entire school staff gives everyone the chance to participate, and that's going to in turn bring in a really diverse set of perspectives and skills to the team. And it's crucial that you emphasize that prior experience is not required and you do not have to be a data expert to join the team. Step two, I want you to formally invite participants to be part of the data team. We recommend that data teams are comprised of about 4 to 8 participants, but you may choose to have larger or smaller teams, obviously depending on the size of your school or the number of interested individuals. If a lot of individuals are signing up, you could even have a primary and secondary for each role, or you may choose to just cap participation. It's really up to you. You can organize an informal kickoff meeting. This could be over lunch or another designated time that works for you all. And it'll be a time where your team gathers and discusses why they joined the team, what they hope to see the team focus on in the short and long term. You may also consider inviting a member of the district data team, have a little meet and greet. And this informal discussion will really help team members get to know each other and talk about their why for joining the team. Right, so once the team is established, it's critical to introduce the team to the school community. This helps to bring visibility to the newly formed team. The data team members hold a really important role in guiding effective decision-making, supporting improvement processes, and strategic planning initiatives. And to celebrate this, because this is really good work, you want to raise the profile of the team, and this will help to get the support from the school community. This is also a really great way to set the stage for when the team begins to share their work and give everyone an idea of how data will be used in decision-making. Now that you've formed your team, hosted your kickoff meeting, it's time to begin your work. However, before this work can begin, it will be important for us to understand and reflect on the current data culture in your school. So at this point, we recommend completing a school pre-assessment. And this is going to give you some really valuable insights into the collective beliefs and behaviors that already exist in your school's data culture. That's achievement data, standardized tests, or skills-based assessments. They absorb a lot of time, and for this reason, many staff may have different perceptions of its value. These reflections will help the team to identify areas of strength and those for improvement. And within our data team guide, we provide a little case study, examples of how data teams can foster a strong data culture by leveraging data such as that from maybe the OurSCHOOL survey, the early years evaluation assessment tool, or the Confident Learners program. The guide will also contain a printable school pre-assessment that you can use with your team, and you can print a copy for each member to fill out and discuss in one of your initial meetings. So step 5, halfway there, we're going to set a meeting rhythm. How often will the team meet? What days work best for the members? It can be really difficult for everyone to stay aligned if there's no structure from the get-go. So outlining these meetings is going to help to ensure the work of the team is prioritized, and that way members of the team can prepare and balance their daily responsibilities in order to plan for their attendance. Step 6, we get in fun here. It's about deciding the role that each team member will play. This is an important step. It's going to ensure that meetings run smoothly and that working time is maximized. It's a really great chance to consider and leverage each team member's skills, and roles can be determined by nomination, voting, self-selection, however you guys choose works for your team. As you begin your work, it's going to be really helpful to start building a network of colleagues that you can approach who can provide mentorship and support for your team as needed. These individuals are going to be able to provide examples of best practices that they may have learned through their work or their respective data teams. And you may also consider connecting with other members of the school community who may operate as a sounding board for your initial data team ideas. After assembling your team, it's really vital to create a shared purpose. So you're going to create a team mission statement. It should be a short statement, usually 1 to 2 sentences, that really defines what the team will do and the purpose it serves. And this is going to really unite your team to accomplish your defined goals. This statement is going to exist in addition to your school vision and mission statements, but it's unique to your team, and it defines the core purpose of your work. And make sure you share this with the school community. And in the guide, we also have tips for creating a mission statement. And all successful teams have an agreed upon set of norms that will guide their interactions. It's so important to work together in the early stages to establish norms that can be used to guide each meeting, making sure that everyone has the opportunity to contribute to the discussion. These norms act as the expectations that your team is going to commit to following to ensure that meeting time will be used efficiently and everyone is respected. So make sure you keep these front of mind. And again, in the guide, there's a little printable where you can record your finalized team norms. And once your team has established a solid foundation, by organizing your work and establishing a mission and meeting norms, you are ready to begin following a structured approach for data use. Using a data model can ensure that everyone on your team is working towards the same goals and are effectively following a plan to incorporate data into a continuous improvement cycle. So here on the screen, we have a data model for a continuous improvement process used here at the Learning Bar. And there are a variety of models available online, but most usually have the same essential elements. So our data model in particular includes, determining an area of need. What area of improvement can you identify after an initial scan of your data? Your team should narrow their focus to prioritize maybe 3 areas. Identify your goals. It may help you by using SMART goals if you're familiar with them. And remember to keep in mind that any school or district priorities and how your individual team goals might reflect these priorities. And then we want to choose a strategy. Create a detailed action plan, select data to effectively monitor progress, and determine who's going to be responsible for what. Then we collect and study the data. You want to identify data to inform your goals and complete a thorough review. Now we're going to monitor impact. You want to track if your strategies are working. And then finally, revise your goals. Dependent on the results that you got and what you've learned, you're going to revise your goals, and then you start all over again. And that's why it's a continuous improvement cycle. You go back to determining a new area of need. Basically, the critical piece is that data teams collect, act, and then revisit the data to monitor the impact of their strategies. And by establishing your team, setting goals, and collecting, analyzing, and actioning data, your team will have made considerable strides towards developing a school data culture. This step, number 10, is about seeing how far you've come. You can conduct a post-assessment as a team and then discuss reflection questions. For example, in what areas can we really celebrate growth? And are there areas that we need to focus on in the future? Printables and instructions can be found in the guide to help your team with this step. The goal here is to carry this momentum forward so that as team members move on to their other roles, the data culture that you have created will remain stable and unaffected by any changes that may happen in your school. Establishing a data team within your school is a transformative endeavor, and it can lead to so much positive change. It may require a bit of time and dedication in the beginning, but the rewards can be so profound, not just for the students, but for school leaders as well. As you set up a team, it's really important to remember that data is kind of useless if you don't collect the right data and if you don't know quite how to use it. With this in mind, just ensure that your data team is using a solution that is based on research, tailored to capture data that is aligned to your student, class, school, district goals. Make sure it's valid, reliable, and proven, really important. Leveraging data will save you time to focus on priorities, target effective interventions, drive change, empower educators. It's going to bring teams to be united, drive long-term improvements within your schools and classrooms. And your dedication to this vital process is really a huge investment that will yield lasting positive impacts on your school's educational landscape. So you just got to embrace the journey, empower one another, and watch your school community flourish as you take these crucial steps together. And just before we wrap up, you may be wondering how we at the Learning Bar collect reliable data for data teams to work with. Our 3 main solutions allow us to support staff at all levels in the education system. We've got ministries, divisions, schools, down to the classroom teachers. We have the early years evaluation. It provides us with data to identify the developmental skills of children aged 3 to 6 to ensure that all students get the targeted instruction and necessary resources they need in this critical time. The Confident Learners Literacy Program provides educators with data on a child's mastery of identified skills and provides resources to ensure that all children can read by the end of grade 3. And finally, our school survey captures data on all factors known to have direct and profound impacts on student learning and well-being. Reducing vulnerability and improving outcomes requires having the right information at the right time to make these informed decisions. And just reach out to us if you'd like to learn more about any of our solutions. Our research and engagement teams are obviously here to support you in building your staff's expertise in the areas of data-driven planning and decision-making. We can collaborate with your teams to examine your data, support in its analysis, and develop action plans for you to take back to your school district to support your strategies through different sessions that we offer. Whether you have questions about how to interpret your findings, aligning literacy assessment data with effective interventions, or incorporating student voice in school planning, we can provide dedicated sessions designed just for you. All you have to do is reach out and don't be shy. So over the next few months, just to let you all know, we're going to be providing further webinars, access to courses, resources that will all assist in the next step on your data journey. We will provide further information over the coming weeks, so keep an eye on those emails. And again, if you're looking for a bit more detail on each of the steps that we reviewed today, shoot us an email and we'll get you the free comprehensive guide that has all the printables, worksheets, templates. The guide actually contains 10 printables that you can use right away from the get-go to begin working with your team. And I just wanted to thank you all for joining us today.